What's up YouTube? Snowman here with DualMix coming at you with a video about the new Toon support. Toons are pretty basic deck, so we're just going to jump right into it. The first card we're going to talk about is Toon Cyber Dragon. Just like all the other Toons, he can attack directly while you control Toon World. He can't attack while he's the first turn he gets on the field. He has his own effect of when your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon him from your hand. Pretty basic, nice 21 beater card that the deck kind of needed for getting monsters out on the field. There are other options like Mermaid and Secret Goblin Force. Well, they had a high attack and, well, Mermaid only had 1400 if I remember correctly. Goblin Force had 2300 attack, but it would switch to defense mode afterwards, just like the original Goblin. I think this is a good addition to the deck. Definitely gonna make them hurt a lot more because 21 attack to your face every turn hurts, and a free special summon is not bad. What do you think, DualMix?
I actually really like the fact that they're getting better, easier to get out monsters like Cyber Dragon, and the effect, like all other Toon monsters, forgive me, can attack directly, which is always great. It can do a lot of damage. Level 5 light. I mean, I really like. I just hope that they'll, not only just stop at just doing Cyber Dragon or stuff like that. They'll branch off into other decks like, Toon. You know how they have Toon Blue Eyes. They could do Toon
Yeah,
Red Eyes, stuff like
Toon
that.
Red Eyes, Toon Heroes. I mean, they can do so much. Lately Konami has been reviving decks that really haven't seen play in a long time. Like I've been calling for Toon support for a long time, and it actually happened. Like things like Volcanics and Fire Kings with their new support. Although Fire Kings was a Korean promo only, and we probably won't see that Fire King Island for a while.
Yeah.
The Volcanic support just, I mean, makes them a rogue deck that can actually compete. There was some Volcanic that went X and O and 10 and O in Swiss. I don't remember where, but he he lost in the top 32. But still, I mean, 10 and O Swiss is still pretty impressive for a rogue deck. Volcanics, just one card revived the whole thing, and hopefully we could see something similar to that with the Toons. The next card we have is Toon Grinder Golem. No, it's not Grinder Golem. Toon Ancient Gear Golem. Just like the other Ancient Gear Golem, he's 3000 attack, 3000 defense. Can't attack the turn it's summoned. Control a Toon World, he can attack directly, and his greater effects, whenever he attacks, your opponent can activate spell or trap cards, and your opponent, when he attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts piercing damage. So, I mean, he's an awesome boss monster. Unlike Blue Eyes, he can't tribute 2 cards to special summon himself, but he's definitely up there. He's a little difficult to get out considering you have to tribute 2 cards, but
Nobody really tributes anymore.
and nobody really tributes anymore.
So
But now that reasoning is at 3, if I remember correctly, I mean it won't be hard to actually get him out as long as you have the new Toon World card, which we'll talk about in a second. As long as you have that on the field already, and you activate reasoning, any any Toon monster you mill will just be a free special summon, and getting Grinder Golem out with reasoning wouldn't be that hard at all.
yeah, you actually suggested a combo earlier, and I think it's actually really interesting. The Gear Golem Castell combo, where you obviously have a Castell. Say your opponent has a weak defense monster, zero defense, let's say. You Castell's effect, put that face down, and attack with Gear Golem. We could potentially see more use of Castell's face down effect more than we see his optional effect where you send one
Back to the
to
deck,
the deck.
shuffles it back to the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty true. You could get over some troublesome monsters with this card. I mean, you can beat up Cleefort Towers with this card. I mean, the 3000 attack directly definitely will seal games occasionally. I wouldn't run more than 2 of this, but with triple reasoning, just because it can get like any tune out with that with that card.
I'd side that third.
Side the third.
I'd say.
I wouldn't side the
Yeah.
third, but unfortunately he can't special summon himself or anything to that matter, and you do have to tribute without reasoning. But I mean, his effect combined with the other of the other new Toon card,
His original effect.
yeah, his original effect combined with the
Yeah.
new Toon Castle, that I'll talk about in a second. I mean, it's just an unkillable card, and your opponent has no response to it. It's pretty. I mean, it's pretty insane. Without further ado, we'll get to the Toon Castle. Toon Castle's
Toon
effects.
Kingdom.
Oh, Toon Kingdom. Oh, it's
Yeah.
Kingdom. All right. It's a field spell, not a continuous trap or spell, unlike Toon World. When it resolves, you banish the top 3 cards of your deck face down, much like the Ghost Trick Reaper does to your deck whenever he banishes face down. It's a really random. I mean, like I was watching Mega Capital G's video about these cards earlier, and he says that it's a really random negative. I'm really inclined to agree because, I mean, unless they incorporate some sort of anti-banishing with this tune with these possible
Yeah.
upcoming tune support, it really it hurts, but it's just kind of weird how it hurts. It doesn't hurt that much.
One thing I'm interested, if it does end up getting banishing support, where banishing your tunes face down is a good thing, that would actually make it even more
Yeah,
unique
it would be an even better
among
card.
decks.
And
Yeah, and this, in my opinion, is what they should have done with the spell, continuous spell, Toon World in the
yeah,
first place.
yeah, not
Yeah,
a continuous spell, but a field spell.
yeah, should have done that.
If we were back in the old ruling, this would be also wouldn't be as good as a card because your opponent could just activate their own field spell or, I mean, MST it obviously always, but now that we have the ruling where both players have their own field spell, it's it's a little more protected from destruction. When it resolves, you banish the top 3. Two monster while it's on the field, 2 monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. And if a Toon monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck for each Toon monster instead of destroying them. I mean,
That's surprisingly a lot of protection.
like, the protection is insane. Like if your opponent has no MST to stop this, I mean they can't really do anything. What what makes it so good is that it's treated as Toon World while it's face up, so you can attack your opponent directly all day. And then if your opponent has any response like Mirror Force or really anything, any sort of destruction, even though people don't run very much destruction anymore, it's still like combine that with Grinder Golem. Your opponent can't get over it by battle, and they can't get over it by card effect. The only way to get over it is but to kill the field spell and then kill the Grinder Golem with some sort of card effect.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think this is great. Is just to have like a bunch of protection because they don't really have a lot of protection. I mean, they only have 3 support cards, which are all spells. There aren't any real
yeah,
counter traps or anything like that. So
they got a counter trap. The Toon players rejoice. Like their Toon table of Toon table of contents that really only players know about for Exodia decks is, I mean, that's already a good search. It's not really a dead draw. It's I would run 3, do the standard Toon table for another Toon table for a third Toon table, and then Toon table for
yeah,
this last one, Toon World. It's a small deck thin, combined with like Upstart, you could probably get a 34 card deck, and then 3 of
yeah,
these. Definitely want to run 3 Toon Kingdoms. The cost isn't that much compared to 1,000 life points. I mean, that's a skill drain right there for a card that's just continuous and has no other effect than being Toon World on the field.
and since you already have like high level tunes with like Cyber Dragon with 21 and Gear Golem with 3,000, you don't really need to worry about banishing because by then you'll have them dead by that
Yeah, I
point.
mean, like, you can't OTK with this deck, obviously, because I mean, you probably could, but you'd have to wait a turn after getting them out. So unfortunately, you can't, like, beat your opponent up with a Cyber Dragon. You get out just immediately. I mean, just amazing support. Like, that new Cyber Dragon support. I doubt you could splash that into this. I mean, if you could, then that would just make it all the more better.
That'd be interesting. I could see a lot of different Exceeds, and who knows, tuner. Maybe we'll even get see synchros.
Toon Tuner, Toon Synchros. I mean, they can. There's so many different things that they can do with this archetype that they haven't, and I'm really looking forward for more support. I'd be a bit disappointed if this is all we get for the next 3 years, but I mean, even this is still really awesome.
Yeah, I'm just glad that it shows that Konami does acknowledge that this is at least a little, you know, because I
Like
mean
like what they did
this
with
deck has been dead for years.
like I don't even think it was alive really. I don't think anybody really like top decked or topped any events with Toon cards, but I like
Pegasus did.
similarly to the Volcanics and to the Fire Kings, they were
Yeah.
or the Cyber Dragons, even like the new Cyber Nova Dragon that's broke as hell. They're reviving a lot of the older archetypes, which is a really good thing. I mean, obviously they're not going to be like even any tiers, but they're playable again. That's the point.
Yeah. I actually personally I just feel like Cyber Dragons have just become a whole new archetype.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see the same thing for Toons.
Hopefully they'll put out some more Monarch support. The new Vassals are pretty good. When I think they just need to
They are.
give them a really good power card, and it'll revive Monarchs. Though obviously they won't be tier. None of these will be tier. Konami will keep their power creep going, and they'll make money. But just the revival of these decks makes it more fun for everybody else who can't afford the $1,000 Necross deck.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. They probably won't put anything too good in these decks just for the sake of milking all the money out of Necross.
Yeah.
Not to say that Konami is strictly just jerks, but
No.
yeah, they're
It's
business.
a business, man. I mean, it's either
They're
that or the
business.
game dies, and which one would you rather have?
Screw it.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Now that I think about it, though, the Toon Cyber Dragon. I mean, he doesn't have any like restrictions, so you could actually probably run that in a regular Cyber Dragon deck. So I wouldn't be surprised if people splashed in some normal Cyber Dragons into this to get some
Oh,
Cyber Alpha Nova Dragon going on.
yeah, there aren't actually. I don't see anything. That's true.
It has no like restrictions. I would splash this into a regular Cyber Dragon deck just so I could have 6 Cyber Dragons. I mean, I've never played Cyber Dragons, so I don't know if you even run 3. But
Although the only bad thing about it is it can't attack the turn it's summoned, but
I mean,
I feel like if they splashed into Toon Cyber Dragon, it would mostly be Exceed material
yeah, definitely.
stuff.
And it doesn't say it has the name Cyber Dragon, so you can use all your support cards with Cyber Dragons on it because it says Toon Cyber Dragon, not like Cyber Toon Dragon or anything.
So in a way, they just got a new support,
Yeah.
got a new monster card.
Kinda, I'll see how that works. I have no idea how to play a Cyber Dragon deck, so I don't know if that would be a good thing or not to get a new Cyber Dragon card, like a new literal
I think
Cyber Dragon.
I think it'd be yeah, I think it's good because I've actually played Cyber Dragons a little bit, and since Cyber Dragon is such a staple, of course, in the deck, having two different basically having 6 accessible copies would be great.
Considering all their support, like Cybercore and all that, all of their effects are
Yeah.
this card is treated as Cyber Dragon on the field if you meet some sort of condition. I would assume that it would be really good to have like a literal other Cyber Dragon level 5 21 beater that is pretty much the same, but he looks a little more chibi.
Just like, just a bunch of new support. I mean, along with Cyber Dragon Infinity and all that stuff.
I mean, I hope everybody's excited as I am for this support. It's not, again, it's not gonna revive the deck. It's not gonna really do anything. It's the Cyber Kingdom. I mean, Toon Kingdom. Sorry. I mean, it's insane. Unfortunately, it won't revive it. It probably won't even be rogue, but it's still a fun deck to play. I hope you
I
guys
just
are excited
Yeah.
as excited for it as we are.
yeah.
And I mean,
I
what?
I hope they just give it a bit more support.
Yeah,
And
that's what
I
I'm really
think
hoping for.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
think there's a chance.
if they just give us this 3 and then nothing else for the next 3 years, it'll be disappointing. But even then, it's still pretty good. Looking forward to new Toon support, And I mean, the only question we can really ask is, what deck is Konami gonna revive next?
Ooh.
You're dumb. All right, we'll see you guys later.